Okay, today we're going to talk about changing a percent to a decimal so you can solve problems that include percentages. Our example is going to be about Peter who earned a raise. Peter's annual salary was $35,000. He earned a 4% raise. What is his new salary? Well, before we do anything, we have to know how to change a percentage into a decimal. Very, very easy. Every single number that you ever see has an imaginary decimal at the end, kind of like the equator. It's there. The only time it shows up is like on a map or whatever. So you always have a decimal at the end of every single number, even though you don't see it most of the time, unless you continue on and you have a fraction following your whole number, then that becomes a decimal. So if I had, let's say I had something like 350%, I can erase the percent and put my decimal there instead. Now, to get rid of a percent, you have to take that decimal and move it 2 places to the left. Okay, so 350% would actually be 3 and 5/10 or 3 and 50 hundredths. Okay, 3 and 5/10. If I have a 50%, to change that to a decimal, to get rid of this percent sign, I just add my decimal to the end and move it 2 places to the left, and it's 5/10. Okay. So you try this. I have 100%. What is 100% as a decimal or as a regular number? Get rid of the percent. Okay. I'm going to add my decimal to the end, go 2 places to the left. 100% is also the same as 1 or 1 whole. So, like if you get 100% on a test, you got them all right. That means you have 1 whole test correct. Every single answer is right. So in this case, we have Peter. His annual salary is $35,000. He earned a 4% raise. Before I do anything, I'm going to just take my 4% and turn it into a decimal so that I can go ahead and finish solving the problem. So to take 4% and turn it into a decimal, I'm going to do my 4, maybe. I'm going to do my 4, and I'm going to add my decimal to the end, and then I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. I have an empty space. I need to add a 0. And now 4% is the same as 4 hundredths. So to remove any confusion, I'm just going to go ahead and write it. 4, oh, my stylus is, sorry, a little squeaky and giving me fits today. Okay, so I have 4 hundredths. Now, let's solve the problem. Peter's annual salary was $35,000. He earned a 4% raise. What is his new salary? To find out the percentage of a number, you multiply. I know it sounds weird, but you multiply. So I'm going to take the amount, 35,000, and multiply it times 4 hundredths. So I already know 4 times any 0 is going to automatically be 0. So I'm going to go ahead and include my zeros. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry my 2. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. Now, when I multiply by a decimal, I look at how many numbers I have behind decimals in my problem. And in this case, I have 2 numbers behind a decimal. That means my answer is going to have two numbers behind a decimal. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to count 1, 2. And I'm going to put my decimal right there. Multiplying by decimals is very, very easy because all you have to do is look in your problem. How many numbers behind a decimal? That's how many numbers are behind a decimal in your answer. So my answer is $1,400. What? He earned a 4% raise. So a 4% of 35,000. When you use the word of in math, that means to multiply. So he earned 4% of 35,000. 4% of 35,000 is $1,400. Now it says we're not done though, because the question is, what is his new salary? Well, if he had a raise, that means his salary increased. And when you increase, you add. So I'm going to take my $35,000 that he earns annually, and I'm going to add his raise of $1,400. Peter's new salary is $36,400.